What's going on, guys? Chuck back with another awesome Blu-ray purchase, and today we're going to take a look at a new release from Criterion Collection, a film from 1987, one that I was so glad that they put this out, because it's a film I've always enjoyed, and I don't hear talk about too much, although I know it is a very well-known, well-respected film, and that is Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle. Now, for those who don't know, Robert Townsend, of course, is well-known comedian in the late 80s. To me, this is where I first heard of Robert Townsend. Of course, this is his directorial debut. He's done a few movies here and there, but I most especially remember after seeing this, he did a bunch of specials on HBO. I think it was called Robert Townsend and His Partners in Crime, where him and basically he had like this comedy troupe, which a lot of these people are friends of his, whatever, that would show up in Hollywood Shuffle, and his stand-up, it was basically doing stand-up, and then they'd have these little skits throughout with all these people. One of the most prominent skits on those specials was The Bold, the Black, and the Beautiful, which was a takeoff on the primetime soap operas at the time, but held but with a black cast, and basically very satirical and hilarious. And a lot of people in there you would know. People like Kean Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans, actually anyone named Wayans, as Kean and Robert were good friends. You had David Allen Greer. A lot of the cast of Living Color, I think this is pre-Living Color, were on that show, and of course, a lot of them you'll see, these people here. The Hollywood Shuffle is a satirical look at black stereotyping in Hollywood, more or less. The premise is you have Robert Townsend as a young actor who's going out for this role of a really stereotypical African American gangster, I guess. And it throws you off when the movie first starts out, because he's rehearsing lines with his brother, and it's basically really bad jive talking. He's quote unquote reading, and in the perception that this is basically from a white person's point of view, white Hollywood's point of view, this is how black people should talk, or Hispanic, or whatever the case may be. But the premise is basically the whole idea of the black stereotyping in Hollywood, the kind of roles that are given, and and this comes from a lot of real life. In this case, the audition they go to, where they be told, certain actors be told, hey, you're not black enough for this, or can you black it up more, stuff like that. And it's just like see, and it's not, as he says in interviews, like there's no anger or hate towards anybody in particular, but just the situation itself, and the case of the actors having to keep taking these roles just to work, but at the same time they're helping to prolong, I guess, those stereotypes, instead of saying, hey, we can do stuff better than this. We don't have to keep stuck with these kind of roles. And it's done to hilarious effect, because throughout the movie is basically a lot of skits, stuff like the Black Actor School, where they're teaching actors how to be black, which is hilarious. One of the hilarious skits, because everybody's in these stereotypical roles, and they call cut, and they're basically Robert speaking very prim, proper English, and they're having white guys teach them how to street it up more. It's it sounds bad, but it's really funny if you listen to the just in context. If you've never seen it, it's hilarious. And there's other the whole rigmarole of the audition, and trying to at the time be the Eddie Murphy type. Everybody has to have that Eddie Murphy in their movie, and that's something that's very prominent. Of course, in this '87, Eddie Murphy was huge, and they actually have a little bit about that. And to that point, Robert Townsend would go on, after showing this to Eddie Murphy, who was a friend of his. Eddie Murphy would ask him to direct his stand-up movie, Eddie Murphy Raw. So there you go. But this is a very, very funny movie, but it also makes you think. Especially, you hear a lot now about that whitewashing. Actually, not really whitewash. That's not what I'm looking for. But they basically the ethnic stereotypes, because that's really prevalent here, and how they're dealt with in white Hollywood. And it's 1987, so this is really still relevant today in a lot of ways. But it's, again, a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking this out. And this is great release from the Criterion Collection. There's your front cover. You're back. As far as special features go on here, you've got a little segment here with a couple of the actors in the film, basically talking about their experience on Hollywood Shuffle and their experiences in real life, auditions, and what they went through getting this movie made. There's a radio interview with Robert Townsend. I think it was celebrating maybe like the 30th anniversary of the film with who was it? I can't remember the actor or the radio DJ he was talking to, because this is an audio clip. But it's really informative. It talks about how he decided to make a movie. Him and Keenan Ivory Wayans wrote this, and maxed out credit cards to pay for it. It's really a great come to Hollywood, making your decide to make a movie. You're going to do what you want. How are you going to get your friends to do it? It's a lot like if you know the Kevin Smith story from making Clerks, but I think obviously. I don't want to go into the reason Kevin Smith's Clerks was, the 90s, it got more huge. But it's a lot of the same story with Robert Townsend in that. You can get friends together, maxing out credit cards, doing what you can do to make a movie, getting it done, getting great critical acclaim, as far as I know. I know I saw it on HBO. It was kind of passing, and it was hilarious. And then it's kind of vanished. But I know it's maybe not a real mainstream, but people who know it love it, and like I said, there's a lot of people in the community who enjoy it from what they've said in the interviews. So in here we've got the disc with Robert Townsend on here, and you've got with Criterion, of course, a nice book. Here's some. You can give you an idea if you can read that. Some of the script from the film, which was reading the script that Robert Townsend's character is testing. If you can read some of that, it's giving you an idea of the stereotype, which sounds. I mean, reading this is like, oh my god, that's really bad. And you see him when he performs it, it's just a mockery of everything. But it again, you see it in context. It's really good. And then you've got again big, as usual from Criterion, big long essay. And you've got stills from the film. You see some of the cast members in stimmy skits, like Attack of the Killer Pimps is a great skit, and there's a few other ones I can't remember, but it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking this film out if you've never seen it. And just released from Criterion Collection, Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle it's a very, very fun movie. And again, it's 1987, but it's so prevalent to the climate of today. So there's that. If you enjoy this, click thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've checked out Hollywood Shuffle. If you haven't heard of it, I mean, I would like to think it's pretty well known. But maybe not. There's definitely a chance you should go check it out. I've got nothing else. It's been a long night. I'm running out of things to say. So I'll leave it at that. Until next time, this is Chuck saying, I will see you on the other side.